This original WSRE presentation is made possible by viewers like you. Thank you.
Hi, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us for this special edition of The Aware Show. I'm Dee Dee Sharp. Glad to have you there. Well, former Mayor Vince Wibbs used to describe Pensacola as the western gate to the Sunshine State where thousands live and millions wish they could. Well, it's no secret Pensacola has become a hot spot for intrepid travelers. From its gleaming sugar white beaches, emerald waters, cultural diversity, and its nonstop festivals, Pensacola has become a tourist destination. But it's not only the beaches, festivals, and music concerts attracting visitors these days. Pensacola has become known for its haunting locations. As a matter of fact, even the Travel Channel has visited Pensacola in search of haunted places. Well, on today's program, you're in for a real treat. We're going to take you on a little road trip. It's our own ghost tour of Haunted Pensacola. And joining us to do that here in our studio are two guest experts who are ghost experts by right, and they're going to guide us through this ghost adventure. My first guest is Dr. Alan Brown. Dr. Brown is an English professor at the University of West Alabama. He is also a member of Alabama's Humanities Foundation Rhodes Scholars Speakers Bureau. Dr. Brown is an accomplished author and has written on a variety of subjects. However, his interest in Southern folklore has resulted him in investigating several haunted sites and writing several books about haunted locations, including this book, Haunted Pensacola. We'll talk more about it in just a moment. Next, we have Tammy Misner. Tammy is the founder of American Paranormal Adventures. APA seeks to educate and entertain by offering ghost hunts, ghost walks, and other paranormal events, all led by a team of paranormal investigators. Hi, and welcome to The Aware Show. We're glad to have you two here with us.
Thank you.
This is an exciting show. We've never in 25 years done anything like this. So we want to thank you all for coming here and joining us. And one thing I can't say enough is that you don't have to believe in ghosts to appreciate a good ghost story. And you all have a lot of them. Dr. Brown, you've documented a good many of them. And you, Tammy, actually have your own eyewitness accounts that you've actually experienced in your life. So I want to get to both of those, but I want to start with you, Tammy. Tell us a little bit about what your personal experience has been.
Well, I first started seeing spirits when I was in my 20s, and I could see them walking behind me as shadows. And then I have had other experiences throughout the years, and then I finally decided that I was going to talk about them because I thought I was going a little crazy. Like, did I really see that? I don't know if that's really happening. So I decided to talk to some friends and when other people, and then they'd say their little ghost stories and say that they've seen things. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. So I decided that I want other people to realize that they are not as, have that, what's the word I'm thinking?
That experience.
They've had the experience, but not alone. So I want people to have the experience with other people. So I decided to do these events where we actually do a ghost hunt, and we turn out the lights, and we have our equipment, and we investigate the location, and everybody gets to experience the same thing. Although some people do experience their own little things while they're sitting there. They may get tapped on the shoulder or the hair pulled, but there's many times that we've had experiences where we've all heard things, we've all seen things together. So
and we'll talk about some of those. So stay close. You won't want to miss Tammy's personal accounts. We even have some experiences that she's going to share with us here on the air, because you actually have some audio. Yes. Of some of that. So if you don't believe us, you'll get a chance to hear her, believe it or not. Dr. Brown, you have written many books about hauntings and that sort of thing. What's your fascination with this?
Well, I've always been interested in weird things since I was a little kid. Instead of playing baseball with the other kids, I would stay inside and watch those old Universal horror movies like Dracula and Frankenstein. And then when I was older, I started reading Poe, and then I got into H.P. Lovecraft. And then When I moved down here in 1986, I learned of a folklorist in Alabama named Catherine Tucker Wyndham, who collected ex-slave narratives, life histories from African Americans in the Black Belt. And a lot of these stories she collected were ghost stories. And I decided about 20 years ago, this is what I wanted to do. And that's what I've been doing for over 20 years.
How do you decide where you're going to go and what you're going to write about in your book? Because it's not just this book, you've written many books. How does that happen for you? You just hear of stories and you decide that's an interesting place, or how do you come about writing stories?
Well, the internet is very helpful.
Okay.
All you have to do is Google haunted places in a particular city or state, and all these names will come up.
Why do you think Pensacola is so haunted, so to speak?
A lot of it has to do with its history. It has a long history. It was first settled in 1559 by the Spanish, who left and didn't come back for 150 years. But Pensacola has a bloody history. It has a Civil War history. And then you have the outbreaks of yellow fever between 1822 and 1905, which claimed thousands of lives. You have at least 7 major hurricanes in the 20th and 21st century. Slavery, the sad legacy of slavery that started in Pensacola in 1763 when the British took possession of it. And then you've got these I guess, catastrophes that you just can't count on and can't expect, like the Deepwater Horizon incident in 2010. And of course, there are these little personal tragedies that people have, and these all resonate in the form of legends that are passed down, but also in a psychic form too, which ghost hunters collect and people like me write down.
Okay. We're going to dive deeper into your book, Haunted Pensacola, in just a moment, Dr. Brown. And Tammy, we're actually going to share with our viewers some of the audio you've collected from actually being on site at some of our locations. We'll get to that in just a moment. But first, Aware actually got a chance to take a tour of some of the haunted places, and we want to share one of them with you now. Take a look and listen. Welcome to the Pensacola Victorian Bed and Breakfast on West Gregory Street, downtown Pensacola, where you'll meet Chuck and Barbie Major, the keepers of the inn. And this is no stranger for Aware, but this is certainly a different story that we're coming from. Thanks for having us here, Barbie.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
I understand that you all have been one of those places in and around our area that have been known to have been visited by ghosts.
Yes, we have.
Tell us more about that.
Well, over the years, we've had a lot of different things happen with reported from our guests, and nothing scary, nothing creepy, but we definitely have had some visits, and most of the things that happen seem to happen upstairs in the guest rooms. And if you'd like to follow me, I'll tell you some of the stories.
I'm right behind you. And so, Barb, I understand that this is one of the most exciting places for some of what we would call our ghost stories here at your cottage.
Yes, well, we have had some spirits over the years, and in this particular room, what people tell us from time to time is they smell pipe tobacco smoke, and this is a non-smoking facility, so you know, we know that that is something happening.
So how would that come through the walls or
exactly.
through the, when you haven't done that here in forever, right. If ever it was ever done?
Exactly.
Yeah, I got you.
And then a number of years ago, we had a playwright staying here whose name was Waylon Wood, and he was staying in our little room, and which the bathroom is across the hall. And in the night, and this room had been rented, but the people checked out. And in the night, he went coming back from his restroom. You know, saw someone come in this room, and the next day he said to me, "Barbie, I'm so glad you rented that room." And I said, "Well, Waylon, I didn't rent the room."
Dun, dun, dun.
I know, right? And his eyes got very big, and he said he saw a woman walking in here with a long white nightdress on, and he could see her heel kick out from underneath her dress. Her hair was piled up, and there you go.
So have you had any sightings here in this room?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not.
Do you believe it?
I totally believe it. I totally believe it.
Not sure who it might have been or anything like that?
No, I don't know if it's somebody attached to the house, but when we, like the second day we were here, I did think, old house, maybe I should have a little talk with the spirits and just say, if you're good and you're nice, you can stay, and if not, you have to go.
That's one way to rebuke them.
Right, that's right. But my husband has seen them, and when we go into another room, I'll tell you that story.
Okay, let's go.
All right. So Dee Dee, this is called Suzanne's room, and this was the master bedroom originally, actually. And we have several ghost stories for this room, and I'll just tell you a couple. The first one, when we were very first here, one of the airlines came, sent some people to talk to us about using the facility for their layovers and whatever. My husband met them and brought them up, and you can see from downstairs the doorway up here. So I heard them go up and down twice, but they only went up and down once. And then he said to me, "Did you go upstairs and make up that day bed?" And I went, "No." And he said, "Oh, I was afraid you were going to say that," because he saw what he thought was me walking into this room as he was bringing the people up, and it wasn't me.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
So more stories come out of this room as well that
Yeah.
you've heard over the years.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
And this has happened in a couple of different rooms, but the first time I heard it was in this room, where they said above them what sounded like a mom in a kitchen with little ones playing around her feet, like pots and pan noises, you know, like kitchen noises, like somebody cooking, a mom cooking with little kids around her feet. And they say it's very soothing. You know, it just soothed them. So we've heard that several times in this room and one of the other rooms. And then the other thing, way back when, our best friends and their daughter came, and she was a year old at the time. This was when we were first here. We had dinner in the dining room. They came up here and, you know, to go to bed. We came into our apartment, which is underneath here. And all of a sudden we heard what sounded like they were taking dishes and slamming them on the floor. And we thought, what are they doing up there? But then the next morning they said, "We heard you downstairs doing those dishes, and we thought we should go down there and help them with those dishes." And nobody was doing anything with dishes. And we've heard a lot of dish stories over the years. I can't tell you why, but
So do you have any idea who or what? Nothing.
not a clue. I know that people pick up a little, one of Captain Northup's little girls died when she was like a toddler, burned her foot badly and passed away. And they pick up that child energy a lot here. And when people take pictures, especially on the stairs, because you know kids and stairs, they see orbs a lot. And I think it's that child energy, very possibly. But other than that, I don't know if they're attached to the house. I don't know.
And as much time as you have spent here, you are not worried about it one?
Not at all. I mean, because they're not. It's not bad or scary. You know what I mean? And like I said, you know, if I did have a little talk with the universe and about that, because you know I've heard stories about bad energy things, and just no.
And that's not here.
And that's not here.
And it's so beautiful, I wouldn't believe it even if someone said it.
Well, right, and I wouldn't have been here 19 years if that were the case. Exactly right.
Always enjoy visiting the Pensacola Bed and Breakfast Victorian here in Pensacola. Barb, wonderful person. Dr. Brown joining us here on the Aware Show, talking about Pensacola hauntings and haunted Pensacola, I should say. When we just took our viewers on a tour of the bed and breakfast, tell us what it is that you now know about it, that you've included as well in your book.
Well, it was built by a sea captain named William Northrop. And the house is known for the ghost of the children and for a lady in white who is pretty much unidentified. But apparently, Captain Northrup's ghost also makes an appearance now and again. He is attracted to her husband, to Chuck. And she told me that Chuck will be doing something and he'll feel somebody looking over his shoulder, and it's a male presence. And
they also smelt cigar smoke,
yes,
as she mentioned.
Yes, and Captain Northrop was a smoker.
Was it cigar or pipe smoke? I forget which one it was. But anyway, they do have smells there as well.
Yes, and that shows the way in which ghosts manifest themselves. They don't just do it through sight. A lot of times it's through smell, it's through sound, and sometimes touch.
Yeah, it's interesting that they appeal kind of to the senses, you know,
Yes.
and that sort of thing. And that brings us over back to Tammy, because you've actually been at the bed and breakfast, and you have some interesting findings you want to share with us.
We do. We've had our recorders going, and we've captured many EVPs. EVPs are electronic voice phenomenon.
Okay.
It captures things that we can't always hear with our own ears. So we'll go back and listen, and we'll get, you know, the evidence from that. And there's been many times, though, that we're still there, and we all hear things happen. We were at the Victorian Bed and Breakfast, and we were all sitting around the dining room table, and we all heard a baby cry. Do you want me to go ahead and play that now?
Let's go ahead, and we're going to ask you to hold it close to your mic so our viewers can hear.
This is on my website, our website. You'll get that information later. And it comes in, the baby starts, you'll hear the baby cry around 7 seconds. It's very light, so you'll have to really listen to this. And I'll put it up to my microphone so you can maybe, hopefully hear it.
I saw 2 legs flash. I saw something flash here, something flash here. Is there a baby crying? Did you hear that? I heard that.
Yeah, can you play it one more time for maybe someone who didn't catch it the first time?
Sure. It's right about 7 seconds in.
Okay.
So you'll have to really listen to it. Okay. And if you have headphones on, if you go to the website and you put your headphones on, you can hear it very well. Very well.
Time.
One more time.
I saw 2 legs flash. I saw something flash here, something flash here. Is there a baby crying? Did you hear that? I heard that.
If you didn't hear it the first time, you certainly heard it the second time. And as Dr. Brown mentioned, that's because there's, and Barb, of course, who lives there, there's the presence of the children in the home. But you also have a whistler.
Yes, we were talking, I believe it was about the woman in white, and all of a sudden, I mean, we all heard the whistle, and we were like, did somebody whistle? And nobody whistled. So I can play that for you as well, and that's very obvious. You'll be able to hear that very well.
And that's Elizabeth's room, so it's playing to both rooms right now. Are you Elizabeth? What's that? Ask her to maybe, who just whistled? Did you hear that? Did someone just whistle? Yeah, did someone just whistle?
So that was the whistle. Oops, sorry.
Okay, and then there's a difference also, as in you ask one presence to kind of acknowledge that they were there, and then the other one you just kind of picked up that it
okay,
the baby
are you
crying.
talking about the residual?
The residual.
Okay, these
and
are
then the
residual.
intelligent. Okay.
A residual spirit is a spirit that subsides in that location, and this here is more of this is an intelligent haunting, I believe. Although I believe it's also residual because they live there, they are there, but they are also communicating with us by whistling. Although the baby crying, that's probably just a residual spirit. Now we've had other EVPs where we've asked a child, we asked, are you still here? And you hear a little girl say, I'm here. So that is an intelligent haunting because she's responding to
Can we
us.
hear her now?
Okay, that's at the Pensacola Little Theater.
Okay.
I would be happy to play that.
And you do a tour there?
We do.
Okay.
We do events there. We'll do dinner, and then we turn out the lights and investigate the whole building. So here's this.
Here. Is that same person here? If you are, make yourself known and I'll sing the song for you. You see the light flicker? Yeah, we have to check.
Okay, now just one more time, because I know I heard it, but I just want to make sure our viewers heard it. I saw one of our camera people go, so can you play it one more time,
Sure.
nice and close
Okay.
to your microphone?
And it's about 6 seconds in, and you'll hear in the background someone say, "I'm here." It's after
And
she
there
says,
was
"Are you
no
sure?"
one there to answer that.
Well, we had a group of people.
like
There's no
physical.
children. There's
okay.
no children. There's
okay,
no
I
one
just
there.
want to make that
And
case.
we didn't hear it.
Okay.
We didn't hear it until we got back into hearing this.
That's interesting.
I was here. Is that same person here? If you are, make yourself known and I'll sing the song for you. It is over the sky. You see the light flicker? Yeah, we have to check.
And so we had the lights flicker right after that. We didn't hear it, but the lights flickered in the building. So those were just a few EVPs that we've captured. We've had many others. There's like the residual haunting at Fort Pickens. You hear a guard on the wall walking, and he said something, and that's again on the website. But all the EVPs that we've captured have been very exciting for us.
Okay, and for those who didn't catch what an EVP is,
An
again.
electronic voice phenomenon.
Okay, and you also have, I believe you have one more you want to share with us before we move on. Did you have the stairs or the man? You've done the whistle, but there was another man I believe you were going to share with us.
Sure, this is at Fort Pickens.
At Fort Pickens.
Right, and we had, we were up on the top part of the fort by the wall, and there's a cannon out in the middle of the field, so we had one of my pieces of equipment on the cannon, and it lights up if something's by it. So we had that there, and I had my camera on it, but I had my recorder behind me on the wall. And this is what the recorder, I heard it. I heard somebody behind me, but I thought it was one of my other team members. And when I turned around, nobody was there. But you'll hear someone walk to the recorder. You'll hear him say, "Abe." I think that's what he says, and then walks away.
Okay. I heard it. Did you hear it? Clear as a bell. Abe. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't think that spirit knew we were even there. I think it was just walking the walls.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And Dr. Brown, you hear stories like this all the time, and they change. Tell us about that.
They do. They evolve. These stories we've been telling are actually ghost legends. And a legend is a story that is based in fact, but through various retellings it becomes embellished. The storyteller will add something or take something out. And so the story that is told maybe 10 years ago will be totally different now. And we see that I have seen this in a lot of the stories I've collected, especially those that I collected maybe 5 or 6 years ago, such as the stories in Haunted Pensacola. Right now, in fact, I'm picking up stories that I didn't know about 6 years ago. And were I to rewrite the book, I would put those in. So these legends are a living thing. They evolve over time, and they reflect the personality of the person telling the story as well.
Okay. Why is it that some people are able to hear or see or experience ghosts or orbs, which are energy spirits of sorts? Why are some people able to hear, touch, feel, whatever it is, and then others don't have that experience or don't see?
Well, people in this field use the word sensitive to describe those individuals who have this ability to commune with the spirit world. And no one knows how this ability comes about. And it's something that you just have. I can give you a good example. I've been to a lot of haunted places, and there's only one place where I've had an experience that I think is probably paranormal. My wife is a math teacher. She's very logical, very a very reasonable person, and she has all of the experiences everywhere, which I think is kind of funny in a way. It's very ironic that these things happen to her. They don't happen to me. We'll go to a place like like the Myrtles, which is very haunted. I'll take pictures all over the place. I won't get any orbs. She gets them everywhere. And I have no explanation for it. But it is good to have these people around when you're on a ghost hunt. I call my wife my ghost magnet because she does seem to...
She brings them to you.
She does bring them to me, yes.
We're going to talk about the ghost hunts that you do with your business in just a moment, Tammy. But first, we want to share with our viewers another tour that we were able to take here on The Aware Show of Haunted Pensacola. Take a look and a listen again. Tell us about the ghosts of the Pensacola Lighthouse.
Sure. The ghosts are really fun, and people really love to hear that portion of it. We're really well known across the country for that. We have historic encounters going back at least 100 years. So these are traditional stories handed down or through the writings of our keepers. And they talk about angry keepers at the top who may be displeased with someone leaving the hatch open. Or we have just the nice keeper who likes to stroll through the hallways and you hear footsteps and opening doors. So I don't know if you heard, but the keeper's quarters is actually haunted.
Haunted?
Yeah, so we've actually have a lot of ghosts here.
I guess this would have been one of the main rooms for that?
This is one of the main rooms. It's actually really well known to drain the power of electronics and in particular cameras.
Really?
Really.
Mike, has it drained any of our batteries from our cameras? No, there you go. No ghosts here, at least for right now.
Let's knock on wood.
Okay.
So on our next stop is actually a rare site in Pensacola. It's our basement. And again, one of our more haunted areas.
Caution.
Watch your head and definitely watch out for the ghosts. Welcome to a rare site in Pensacola, a basement.
Yeah, that is kind of rare for Pensacola.
We sit on a 40-foot bluff, so we're above the water table and it allows us in. The keepers had a lot of use for this. One, they had stills in here at one time. One guy was a taxidermy. And so it's interesting, but we also have a lot of hauntings in this area as well. This particular room is known as the basement where Thomas resides, and he's a large ghost known to touch many of our female guests.
Really?
Yes, he loves long hair.
I'm glad mine is up. Don't touch my hair, Thomas. Okay.
Now we're walking into our keeper's kitchen. This is actually some of the original furniture from the original lighthouse keepers from the Emmett Hatton collection. This room is particularly noted for a couple of occurrences. One evening, one of the keepers came in here and he looked across the room in a dark room and saw the cherry of what looked like a cigarette in the room. However, there was nobody attached to it and there was no cigarette, but he did smell cherry tobacco smoke.
Interesting.
Up on the second floor is one of the more unique areas, I must say. This is, we have a landing we're about to see where someone had a really interesting experience.
All right.
All right, here we are. This is the landing, and it's kind of innocuous. However, we had the Emmett Hatton and his parents lived here. The parents lived in this room, and Emmett Hatton lived in the bedroom behind me. Okay. One evening, while Emmett was sleeping, he heard footsteps walking up and down this hallway here. He wondered who was here because he knew his parents were in bed, and so he came outside, but as he started to open the door, the person walked down the stairs. He didn't catch a glimpse of them, so he went up to the door behind you, went to the porch, he looked down, he heard the downstairs door open and close. Nobody showed up. The gate opened and closed, he never saw a soul. Very interesting.
Yes.
100 years later, almost to the day, ghost hunters from TAPS came out here to do an investigation, if you know them from Sci-Fi Channel. But one of their hunters sat on this floor and had somebody walk across his path, and he never saw a soul.
Did it register on the meters? I mean, how did they know?
They had heard the sounds. They had voice recordings, which they will discuss later in the next room.
Okay, let's go.
Welcome to the parents' bedroom, or more infamously known as the Bloody Bedroom. And this is one of our resident keepers here.
Scary. Okay, so now why would they have called this the Bloody Room?
Awesome question. Mr. Hatton, who I had mentioned earlier, when he was a boy, his mother, there were bloodstains on these floors. They don't know where they came from, but no matter how many times his mother would scrub them, they would always come back.
Interesting. Are the bloodstains?
You can still see some of the bloodstains. You can actually see where you're standing, where she had scrubbed the floor.
I'm not sure what's going on there, but there is something there.
Oh, absolutely. They've almost scrubbed the pigment out of the floor.
Interesting. A lot of history here.
It is. When the Ghostbuster was here, they put a voice recorder on the bed, and they actually asked, were you murdered? And they actually had a woman's voice come across and say no. We believe that the daughter of the woman on the mantle here was pregnant, and she came to term, and she had a difficult pregnancy, and she passed away in labor.
From what I understand, this is a pretty priceless lens, so it's really the gem of Pensacola.
It really is. One of only 10 in the United States, and irreplaceable. One other ghost story I got to tell you is this, regards this hatch here. A lot of evenings, the Coast Guard and Old Keepers have reported if this hatch was left open at night, they would hear it slamming, and they would hear a keeper or a male voice yelling from the top of the tower as it slammed.
So it could have been a gem for the ghosts too, huh?
They really cared about this lens.
What would you have to say to someone coming here looking for a ghost?
The people I talk to absolutely are convinced of their encounters.
All right, there you have it. Pensacola Lighthouse. All about it in your book too, Dr.
Yes.
Brown. Tell us more.
Well, the stories he told you are probably the best known, and they're just a fraction of the ghost stories connected to the lighthouse. Emmett Hatton, that he mentioned, lived there between 1931 and 1953. He grew up with the ghost stories, had his own experiences. One time he was trying to rotate the lens, and he had these two chains, and he was pulling on the chains, and he felt someone breathing behind him. He described it as heavy breathing. There is a runaway slave boy whose ghost is seen in the basement behind the stairs. There is a lady in white who's been seen walking on the catwalk. I could just go on and on and on. They're just a large number of stories here. And it's a kind of place that ghost hunters would describe as a very active site because activity is reported all the time. Sometimes it dies down. Not there.
Okay. In your book, Haunted Pensacola, you have extensive history, not just in that book, but the other books that you've written. You've done a great deal of research on these stories that you have included in your writings.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's really important to know the history of these places because that's the basis of the legends. And from my own point of view, that's where the creepy factor comes in. If you know the story, the history, that can be substantiated through facts, and then you look at the stories that spring from the history, and then you begin to ask yourself, could this have really happened? And that's when the goosebumps pop up on the arm. And
I've already had a couple here on the show with some of Tammy's actual EVPs that we've shared here on the show. And Tammy, that brings us to you because you are the founder of the American Paranormal Adventures here in Pensacola. And the interesting thing about your business is you actually take people out and you allow them to kind of do their own ghost hauntings or hunt, I should
Investigations,
say.
yes.
Investigations.
That's right.
Tell us about some of the items you brought along with you.
Well, normally when we have our investigations, we use a K2 meter, which a K2 meter, it does by electromagnetic forces or field is what it is, an EMF detector. So that we'll use that for light, and it'll light up if something comes up next to it. And that's, I don't have that with me tonight. But today I have my Boo Bear. Boo Bear is kind of similar to the K2 meter. And we turn him on, and when it's dark, his stomach will be green. But if something comes up to him, his hands will light up red, and that'll show us that it's kind of similar to the K2. It'll show that there's something around there wanting to play with the Boo Bear. And then, so we use this a lot at the Pensacola Theater because there's a little girl that is haunting the theater, and also at the Victorian Bed and Breakfast. And the same sense as with this is our doll, the little rag doll. This is great at the Victorian Bed and Breakfast because it's almost like the same era. They had the rag dolls, and this has an alarm on it. It'll make a huge siren alarm, and it did go off at the Victorian Bed and Breakfast for us, and I didn't even know it worked.
Let me see the alarm that's in the back. You have in the back of the doll.
Okay. There's an alarm right here, and we turn it on, and it makes a beep, and then if it goes off.
What kind of alarm is that?
It goes by your by vibration.
Okay.
But it's a certain vibration that it needs because I can pop it around and it won't go off. It's just.
And you've actually had that go off at the Pensacola Bed and Breakfast.
No, it went off. Yes, the Victorian Bed and Breakfast. Okay. Yes, and we were with the Tennessee Wraith Chasers. Ghost Asylum from Destination America.
And you believe it's because the little girl...
The little girl was trying to play with it. I believe so.
Interesting.
And then we use a flashlight, and the flashlight, you turn it on and off. We turn it to where it's just off, and then we put it on the side of a table, and then we ask questions, and if there's something there and it wants to communicate, it can turn the flashlight on and off to answer us.
Okay.
So we use that, and I have a video of actually that happening, and we were totally surprised, and that's on my website. And all of our guests...
This is my favorite.
This is everybody's favorite, are the dowsing rods. And the dowsing rods, people have used these for years, centuries, to find water or something underneath the ground for pipes and such. Well, there's like this, you hold them on the edge, and they will go off if there's something electrical, like something that has,
energy.
Energy, yes, thank you. And we'll ask questions, if there's someone here, can you please cross the rods? And if they cross, that means that someone's here. You're looking at them like, are they going to cross?
Okay.
But to show how it works, there's a cup of water on the table, and water is energy. So when we go across the water, the rods are going to cross because it's right above the energy, the water. So that's kind of how.
Which is the water.
Right there, yeah. So that's how that works. Now, when we're standing and where there's no water around or anything, and they're not moving, but then you ask questions and they start moving, it helps when we're trying to find out who's around. So a lot of our guests really enjoy using the dowsing rods, and it's been one of our favorites. And we have all kinds of cameras, all kinds of different equipment that we use. I put up infrared cameras throughout the buildings so that and it records on our DVR. So I go home and I watch 4 cameras for 6 hours of recording, each camera for some paranormal. So it's a long process to try and find evidence, but we do what we can to help our guests see that what they were experiencing, that was there, and they saw, and we captured it. So, and all of our guests get the opportunity to experience it as well.
Very interesting. Thanks so much. Also, Dr. Brown, I want to get you into this because we're talking about Pensacola, but you are a professor at the University of West Alabama, and there are quite a few ghosts that you have been able to investigate and write stories about as well. And I used to attend Spring Hill College many moons ago in Mobile, and that's one of the sightings that you talk about in some of your lectures. Tell us more about that and other areas in Alabama.
Okay. Well, college campuses are great places to find ghost stories because of the oral traditions that are still alive in dormitories. When students get bored, or if they want to just scare each other, they'll tell ghost stories. They'll tell something that they've heard, and then other students will chime in. And a lot of these stories have been around for years. Some of them are fairly recent in origin. Some of them have been around for over 150 years. Now, the Spring Hill story, I would say that goes back probably about 40 years. There was a Jesuit priest who was a math teacher, and he was strict but fair. And at the end of every semester, he would write what the students called the impossible math problem that no one could solve. Only a few people could solve it, and those who did received 100 extra points on their grade average. their semester average. Well after he died, his replacement decided he wanted to continue the tradition. And the first time he tried it, I put the problem on the board. There was a young man in the back who was just completely befuddled. The whole class was befuddled. And so the next day, the priest asked if anyone had solved the problem, and no one responded. And then this little boy, who was probably a C student, he timidly raised his hand and said, "Father, I think I know the answer." So the priest let him go up to the board. He wrote the answer, and it was correct. And everybody was flabbergasted. The priest said, "George, how in the world did you get that right?" And George said, "Well, I was working late one night, last night actually, and this priest came in, an older man, and he sat down with me and showed me how to do it." He described the priest, and his description matched that of Father Mueller. Mm-hmm. And Father Mueller has been seen several times since then. That's a good example of a spirit that has an attachment to a place. A lot of spirits do.
I have my own experience with perhaps that, I suppose. I just happened to be at the hospital on the base of Fort Jackson in Columbia, South Carolina, about 2 years ago, going down to get a CT scan. And long story short, they told me where to go, got on the elevator, went down to the basement, got off the elevator, and had this long hallway. And as I began to walk down the hallway, it was as though it was getting longer and more narrow to me. And I just felt this eerie presence around me, and I began to just call out, "Hello," you know, just hoping someone would be near, because there wasn't anything in sight, just the hall. And I began to walk faster and faster, and before long, I did get to turn the right, and I saw the signs where you would go, and I kept going, "Hello," and finally someone said, "Yeah, we're down here." So thank goodness I got there, and I was standing before the receptionist, and I almost didn't say anything to her. And then I just said, "You know, I just had this weird feeling getting off the elevator and walking down the hall." And she said, "Well, which elevator was it?" And I said, "Well, it's the one in the back, you know." And she said, "Well, the one in the very back is where the old morgue was. And we generally don't tell people to go to that one. We have them come to a closer one, not necessarily because of that, but just because this is the one that you would get off right here where you need to be." But the strangest thing was the feeling that I had, and now as I tell that story, it's just described as restless spirits, perhaps. I don't know. It's just how I felt. So I don't know, and I'm sure others don't know to tell their story, or don't even know whether they believe in this or they don't. And I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just having the Aware Show to make you aware.
Well, Dee Dee, I think that the fact that you're telling the story on TV shows how times have changed. 20 years ago, if a person claimed to have an experience like that, he ran the risk of being called crazy or drunk. Thanks to the proliferation of ghost shows on television, though, people seem to be much more willing to come forward because they know that somebody else probably has had a similar experience.
Well, there would be no way that I would have known
Yeah.
any of that, you know, until I got there and she said that to me.
Yeah.
It was just my own eerie feeling about it.
Your body is your best instrument when you're ghost hunting. And that's one thing I will say. I can have all the equipment I want, but it's how you feel. You'll get the goosebumps. You'll feel that uneasy feeling. You might have somebody touch you, pull your hair. That, even if you don't have the money to go and buy a K2 meter or whatever, go in with your phone, take pictures, and how you feel, because that's a big deal. I mean, that's a good way to know that there's something there. So that's a good tip for people who don't understand and realize that they're feeling something and not really knowing what it is. It's something around you.
All right. Well, we have one more story for you, as Aware was able to take our own ghost tour, and we want to share one other location with you here on the show. Take a look and a listen. Welcome to Rosie O'Grady's, the birthplace for Seville Quarter, downtown Pensacola, where you will meet this lady, Patty Grokowski, who has been instrumental in preserving Pensacola history and hauntings. Tell us more.
Well, the building that we are in, Seville Quarter, is one of the oldest buildings here in Pensacola. The building dates back, Rosie O'Grady's dates back to about 1880. And it is full of ghosts.
Ooh. Little haunting right there alone.
Absolutely.
Any in this room where we're standing right now that we need to look out for? Really?
Yes.
Tell us more.
Well, we have people who have actually seen the ghosts on the tour. If you see a ghost and you have a camera, go right ahead and take a photo. It's perfectly acceptable.
How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this for almost 10 years now.
So you enjoy taking people on the ghost tours here?
I really do.
And you find and see things all the time?
Yes.
You personally or your patrons? Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Sometimes more frequently than others, but you know, it is what it is. So where I would love to start though is the ladies' room upstairs.
Okay.
How many people have been in a haunted ladies' room?
I don't know. I guess I'll be one more of them.
One more.
Take me. We'll follow.
All right, just follow.
Okay.
We are upstairs now at Seville Quarter, and I'd like you to look at these two portraits. Do you see anything different about them?
This one looks like this person is very much alive now, and that person, not so much.
Correct. In Victorian times, when a person died, they were buried almost immediately, and then the family looked through the family album. If they had no picture of the deceased, he was or she was dug up, a portrait created, and then reburied.
That's very interesting.
Embalming hadn't been discovered yet. We are now going into the ladies' room upstairs. And a friend of mine had an experience with a ghost in this room. She was in here staring at the mirror, and all of a sudden she saw a ghost. She looked at the ghost and thought, well, this woman must be Cajun because of her complexion. It was creamy. She had long hair piled up on top of her head, and her clothing was a two-piece outfit that the skirt went almost down to the floor. And we think by the description it was lawn muslin. And as she watched the ghost slowly disappeared. And it had gotten really cold in this room, like somebody had turned the air conditioning on the freeze setting. It was so cold. We're leaving the bathroom now, and we're headed for the general office of Seville. And this used to be a brothel. This is a very heavy chandelier. I imagine originally it was a gas lit chandelier. Doing a ghost investigation here, we were taking photos of this chandelier, and all of a sudden it started swaying back and forth. And as we took more photos, we found orbs. Orbs are energy. Orbs are ghosts. So yes, this room is haunted. The room we are in right now, when the upstairs was a brothel, was the room where they had parties. And at one time there was a party. A kerosene lantern was knocked over. The room caught on fire, and some of the prostitutes perished in the fire, but the majority of them got out.
So you believe that the ghosts who are still here may have been the ones who didn't get out?
Correct.
And still live here today? Okay. So now, Patty, have there been any sightings of ghosts here in what used to be the brothel?
Absolutely. One of the ghosts is a former employee who died here at Seville. And what he does is in the evening, when one particular person is working, he shows up in her doorway. And she will look up and look at him and say, okay, Wesley, Everything is fine. You don't need to stay. And sometimes he leaves, and sometimes he stays. We also have a ghost who shows up in a Victorian era costume. And she was standing about where you and I are standing right now, and she just glided over to the door. And when she got to the door, she went straight through it. Didn't open it, she just went straight through the door and disappeared. We didn't see her on the other side.
So some of those sightings have actually been from employees here at Rosie O'Grady's.
Yes.
That's interesting.
In fact, that's where I got most of my ghost stories from. I interviewed the employees. So just about every ghost story that I'm sharing with you has actually been seen by Seville Quarter employees. We had another ghostly experience here in Rosie O'Grady's, and it concerned our resident ghost, Wesley. A woman was here, and all of a sudden she started to feel sweaty and cold and clammy, and she kind of got frightened. And she looked around, and she saw Wesley standing there. And she said, "I don't believe it's you. If it's you, you have to give me a sign." And Wesley went like this, which scared the daylights out of her, and she left, and Wesley did too.
And she probably hasn't been back since, although Wesley has.
He sure has. And I can tell you absolutely, positively, that there are ghosts here at Seville because they serve spirits.
And yes, they do. Certainly like to thank Rosie O'Grady's for allowing us in, a very beautiful place to go. And just one other note here, our producer probably doesn't want me to tell this story, but in that bathroom where we were, she dipped out over into the bathroom or the restroom while we were taping so that she wouldn't be in the footage. And she says that as she was texting, she felt a presence beside her, but she thought it was me or the photographer coming to ask her a question or say something to her. And she said as she did that, she got a tap. So she looked over to see, as somebody would do if you get a tap, and she looked over and there wasn't anyone there. We don't know. The young lady in the video says that was a ghost, but we don't know, or big question mark. So we don't know, believe it or not. Dr. Brown, just a quick opportunity here for you to tell us about some of your other stories that you've written here in Pensacola about Pensacola, I should say Haunted Pensacola, to get the name of your book right, and then we'll come to you briefly. Tammy, tell us a little bit more about your team as you all do your ghost haunts here in Pensacola. Dr. Brown?
I would just like to say that Pensacola has a number of haunted places. It has haunted houses, like the Tivoli High House, the Barclay House, the Gray House, the Dorr House. It has haunted streets, like Government Street, which is haunted by the ghost of a little boy who drowned, or Ramona Street, which is haunted by a headless woman who was decapitated by a pirate in the 1820s. And then you've got the old Sacred Heart Hospital, which is now an office building. You've got the T.T. Wentworth Museum. The list just goes on and on and on. Oh, the Quayside Art Gallery, which was a firehouse. And there's a really good ghost story attached to it that was actually in the newspapers in 1892. And these are stories that focus around places that you can visit. You can go, you can talk to people, and a lot of people these days, as I said, are more open about ghost stories,
Okay.
and they'll tell you.
Very good. And Tammy, tell us a little bit about your team right quick.
My
you all
partner
go out and do
and
your
I,
hunts.
sure. My partner and I are mothers, 2 moms, families. We both have the love and the knowledge. We want to know more about the paranormal. So Loretta Peters, she's my partner in this in my company. And then I have a team, Alan Emons. He's from Escarosa Paranormal. Him and his team will help me a lot of times in my investigations, and many of my audios actually come from him. Our EVPs, he's really good. But they help me a lot through a lot of a lot of our events, and I really appreciate that as well.
Very good. All right, so just before we get a close here, just want to give each of you an opportunity to just tell our viewers about what you know and what you love sharing about ghost stories and in your writings, Dr. Brown.
Well, I think, first of all, I think ghost hunting is a really fun hobby. And it is a lot cheaper than a few other hobbies I can think of. But you don't have to spend a lot of money to be a ghost hunter. And there are just a few things that you really, really need, a few essentials. And any ghost hunter will tell you what those are. I think Tammy has done a good job talking about that. But if you know someone in your family who has had a ghost experience or who knows a story that's been passed around in town for years and years, record that person. Because chances are good that someday you will wish you had. These are part of your family history, and you need to keep them around as long as you can.
Tammy, anybody interested in doing a ghost hunt?
If you're interested in doing an event, we have 3 or 4 more this year coming up, and then we'll have more next year as well. Right now we're just doing a bed and breakfast, and we have 4 of those coming, actually. One October 22nd, December 3rd, December 10th, and December 17th. A lot of people are really curious and interested in doing the bed and breakfast. You go to my website, AmericanParanormalAdventures.com. That's where you can find all the information on how to get tickets to do the events. And like I said, everything lights out, recorders on, and cameras going. So that's what we do.
For someone who may not believe, what do you have to say, quickly?
My husband's a non-believer. Okay. I'm working on it.
I'm not sure that I do, but I'm just saying.
One day.
Big question.
The best ghost hunters are skeptics. They go in trying to debunk the stories that they've heard. And when they can't debunk them, that's when their eyes light up and they know they've got something.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for joining us here on The Aware Show. That's all the time we have for you. Hope you enjoyed our tour of Haunted Pensacola. I'd like to once again thank our guests for being here with their wonderful stories and ghost expertise. We loved having them here and want you to remember that if you do hear something that goes bump in the night, you just may want to contact one of our ghost experts to find out what may be really going on there. Till next time, I'm Dee Dee Sharp saying stay informed and stay aware.